All right, let's go to old business, life safety capital improvement.
So there were documents added today after our construction meeting, just to update the board. Joe Papanikolaou, the CM for the school district, will be at the July and August meetings. He had a conflict tonight. He asked to send a rep, but I thought with an outside rep not familiar with our project, it'd be more efficient if I just provided you the update. The first document on page 216 in the packet is the updated RFP log and just request for proposals. We're waiting on one RFP to still be submitted, and that's the water hydrant that's at the 50-yard line for the cooling station. We're waiting for an RFP on that. The second document is the CAP log, and this is the change allowance proposal log. And so if it's in red, it was either not accepted or revised, and greens have been approved. The turf 10-year warranty and to upgrade it was approved. Then you see there was a reduction or a credit. We also received a credit for number 4. Then we rejected number 5, which was the Cavalier gates. We got a new 5R revised, and that was approved for the sliding gates compared to the fold-out gates or the hinge gates. We rejected the alternative crumb rubber for the Nike grind. That was $110,000. That was rejected. We revised the storm trap lift station, and that was for Reamer to remove the water hydrant cost. So that's been revised. You have 8R, which is the new price, and then 9 is the price for the changing of the stone. So roughly, we're about $254,000 into our change allowance budget. The next document, though, summarizes our change allowance budget and also shows credits back to the district. So you'll see that overall at the top of this page, we've used about $152,000 of our change allowance with the credits back from all the bond contracts. So for each different contractor, if it's in red in parentheses, that's been a change allowance that's been approved. If it's black, that's been a credit. And so right now on the first page, we've had some change allowances with Reamer in regards to the stone and the sliding gates. And then we go to page 2. Everything else is, I believe, are credits with the exception of Austin Electric. And that was a short credit, and I'll get more documentation from Joe on that. And then we had to upgrade the turf on the last page was the $17,000. That's manufactured in the warehouse and also provides us with the additional 2 years of warranty. So overall, we're about $152,000 into our change allowance budget, which was $705. So we have the Oz Engineering that would eventually be used out of that, and then there is probably one other change, around $25,000, hopefully under, and that's for the pump station. That connects to the sewer line that's near Rockefeller, and we do have some minor bedrock. So we did a couple cost estimates just if we wanted to go with the current footprint and just chisel out the few feet of bedrock, and it should be within the ballpark of about $25,000. And that would be the last thing that would be underground or below ground or below grade, which is usually where you find a lot of your contingencies being used. So knock on wood to this point. The stone is being removed from the field and being used wherever it can be used, and then the remaining stone will need to be hauled off, and we're looking at some resolutions in regards to that, and we'll do a roll test on that soil hopefully in the next couple days before we start to lay the new stone and start to put the field drains, etc. back down.
Kevin, could you explain what a roll test means?
A roll test is underneath, if you think about the ground where the football field is, there's your soil or your clay, and then eventually there's a fabric that's laid over it, and then there's 6 inches of stone, and then your carpet, your turf is laid over it. So the roll test, what they do is they want to make sure that the soil and clay underneath the fabric and the stone and the turf are suitable for all the weight and for the field, so that there's not any problems. So they do roll tests with tractor trailers on the soil to make sure there's no problems. And that's one of those things that Oz Engineering would be there testing to make sure that the soil is suitable. And if you look at Reamer, part of that 290,000 is also a part of that is their undercut budget, which is an additional allowance for part of if there's any problems with the soil or the clay underneath the stone base.
All right, any questions for Kevin on the paperwork submitted?